Modern Luke, pros and cons. Here we go. So, pro number one with Modern Luke. Luke is a DP character, which means his modern counterpart has a one-button DP. And DPs in this game, they have frame 1 invincibility to air moves. The frame meter does not tell you that, but I promise you it's in the game. Every single DP has it. Luke's does, Jamie's does, Ryu's does, all of them have frame 1 invincibility to any jumping attack. And having that on one button is very nice to have, because inputting a DP, even if you're ready for it, like for instance, it takes me an average about 10 frames to input a DP with all the motions. See, that was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that was a 9-frame DP, but with modern, it's just you just do it. Like, I'm pressing forward for 2 frames there, but I can do it instantly. See, that was instant. That was instant as well. It's really not hard to do an instant DP, and then you just have to wait for the 6 frames. It is medium DP, by the way, so light DP is 5 frames, and the one-button version you get is the 6-frame medium DP. And of course, the only downside to one-button moves is, as you can see up there, when it says damage under the timer, it's only doing 800 damage whenever medium DP normally does 1,000. So you do 80% as opposed to 100% of the normal damage. But you're more often than not going to be willing to trade that damage just to make sure you don't get jumped in on. Alright, next pro is this here. 1-frame armor on the command dash. So normal command dash doesn't have any armor, but if you spend meter on it, as you can see down there, the purple means armor. So on frame 3, until the end of the run, he has 1 hit of armor. And so that means he can go through things like fireballs. Unfortunately, if you actually try to react to fireballs like this, you're not really going to be punishing anything. But in this season, Season 3, the overhead version of the run follow-up has been given... Oh, that was just it. But it's safe on block, so you're -3 there. So even if you don't punish anything, you got in, and you're safe, gained some ground, and now you're in their face. And of course, it is an overhead, so if Rashid is crouching, and he throws his fireball, and he's not ready for it, whoops, he's not ready for it, he'll just get hit. Like, that wasn't a punish counter, but if Rashid's just not ready, because it's in the heat of the moment, hard to react to that being an overhead. So you'll just get hits with that anyways, and if you don't, it's fine, because it's -3 and you're safe. Okay, that's all for the specials, but Luke's also has some of the best one-button supers in the game, so let's talk about those. One-button level 1, obviously 6 frames, point blank, it's 6 frames that is. Out here, you're hitting on frame, I don't know, not 6, it's a little longer to get out there, but it's still very fast, and it goes very far. Of course, the range is limited, but still, having that big of range, and also, it's invincible, just like all level 1s, to everything except projectiles, which means that it can still go through projectiles, but like, for instance, the projectiles will still hit him, but since he's also throwing projectiles of his own, he can go through. So there are ranges. Well, maybe not against Rashid, but you can punish certain characters' fireballs with this. Like, take for instance Ken. His fireball is kind of slow. Shut up, Rashid. So yeah, you can punish fireballs with that. It used to be better at it. They nerfed it for punishing fireballs, but it's still great. And also, of course, it's still invincible. So that's like always going to be good. Another thing is his level 2, while being invincible, is also not the worst anti-air in the world. You see he got hit in the air there. And it does decent damage, 22%. Which is not bad for an anti-air. Nice little panic option if you need it. But the level 3, that's where it really it really picks up, because his level 3 is invincible to projectiles. And see, that was a punish counter on a 1-button move, and you get 32% off of that, which is pretty nice. And of course with CA you get even more. But yeah, his level 3, it gets 13 frames of invincibility and goes pretty far. It's no Cammy's level 3, but it's decent, and you can definitely catch people throwing fireballs with this, especially when you're in burnout, and you're trying not to get chipped out. You can just react, and it works pretty often. It's a very nice thing to have. And then last but not least, with the pros, is Luke's auto combos. So as you can see, that was light auto combo, just 22%. Spends the 2 drive and the super, right? But on block, and I've talked about this before, but he will never go into the knuckle. And just to show you, if he did go into the knuckle, knuckle is minus 22, so you would get punished for that, definitely. And you can manually do the knuckle, but if you're just mashing the button, he will never do the knuckle on block. And if I set it to random, see, that time he did it. Whoops. So if I set it to random, that time he did it, because also another thing about this is it only checking if the second crouching light punch, it's checking if that hits. So if he blocks the first hit and then gets hit by the second one, and you're mashing, he'll just do the combo anyway, which is very nice to have. Because, I mean, you can hit confirm 2 lights, like good players can do that, but you cannot hit confirm 1 light. It's just not possible. You can't react to that. But modern, under this very specific circumstance, well, do that. It'll hit confirm that second light for you. And of course, if the second light is blocked, you're minus 2 and you're fine. And if the second light hits, you get to go into your full combo, into your super, and it even does more damage because less scaling from lights. You only did 1 light, and so you actually do 23% damage instead of 22. I forgot to mention that if Luke is in burnout, he goes into light knuckle. He did not used to do this. They patched it in. I don't quite remember when, but... And then, of course, on block, he will not go into the knuckle. And good thing, because light knuckle is minus 18. Okay, now we can talk about heavy auto combo. This one is maybe not as unique, but he does heavy punch into OD Fireball, OD Sandblast into level 3, which is by no means an optimal combo. I just want to throw that out there. This is not really a great combo if you're ever like actually doing a combo. It only does 40%, and I mean, Luke can do better meterless, but that's not the point. The point is that you don't have to hit confirm that, because on block, he just stops. You're minus 2. Even if I'm mashing the button, you can see on the little controller overlay, I'm mashing the button. He will not cancel that into level 3, and that is also very nice, because 40%, even though it's not optimal, it's still a good chunk of damage. And if you're in a last hit scramble situation, you're just back and forth, you can just start throwing these out, and if it hits, congrats, you won the round. So while it's not optimal, it's still hit confirming for you, which is really nice. And another thing I want to show you, in burnout, he goes into heavy fireball, and it still works. So, and then, of course, on block it's minus 2. And this is arguably better, because if you have no drive to spend, you're already in burnout, you're not going to be, like, I mean, you can't lose 2 drive gauge. So, just having this meterless is super duper nice, especially, you know, last hit scramble situation, you're in burnout. Usually, you're going to really struggle to find a hit in a level 3 because you don't have any, like, you can't do a drive rush cancel to get into some plus frames. You just have to, like, I don't know, it's hard. But in modern, you just have the meterless hit confirm, into level 3, which still does a decent chunk of damage. I don't remember how much exactly. Okay, it does more damage in Burnout. You do 42%. So yeah, that's really good to have. Alright, so you may notice at the top left, I've switched to Classic Luke here to show you the cons. So, modern controls, since you only have the light, medium, and heavy buttons, and not the punches and kicks that Classic has, you miss out on some moves. So what does Luke miss out on? Luke does not have, in modern controls, he does not have back heavy kick, he does not have stand light kick, and he does not have stand medium kick. So these three moves, they do kind of suck to not have, but it's not all bad. Stand light kick is Luke's 5-frame normal, and it has decent range. Can combo into light knuckle and stuff, but it does the same damage as crouch light punch, and Luke's crouch light punch has also got some pretty good range. Like there are ranges where like crouch light punch whiffs and stand light kick hits, but it doesn't come up too often. Like maybe like punishing bison scissors, but not a huge deal. You can kind of go without this move. Not a huge loss. As for stand medium kick, this move is one of Luke's, like low risk, low reward pokes. And let me just see, save a status here. Yeah, so there are ranges where, this whiffs, but I mean, Modern Luke is fine because he can still do stand medium punch, which just has more range. And of course, he also has stand heavy punch, but that's unsafe on block. But the point is, if you really need that low risk, low reward poke, -3, whatever, stand medium punch has got you covered. It's 1 frame slower and does 100 less damage, but you're fine. You're gonna make it. It's not like, of all of the mediums to lose, you're probably okay losing stand medium kick. It's not even cancelable. Like it doesn't lead to anything. Whereas stand medium punch, you have this target combo, and you may have noticed that the first 2 hits of it are cancelable into supers. So you're getting more reward off of stand medium punch than you would off of stand medium kick, and it has more range. I mean, stand medium kick does more damage like on its own, but that's so marginal, and it's also a frame faster, but again, marginal difference. So you're not too sad to see stand medium kick go. And lastly, you're missing back heavy kick. Modern, you just get back heavy punch, and you're missing this normal entirely. And this one does kind of sting, because this is your main way. Say you're doing a drive rush, and you need to combo into crouch heavy punch, right, which is his max damage. Like crouch heavy punch goes into perfect medium knuckle. So you want to route into it as much as you can. So, for instance, stand heavy punch, back heavy kick at a drive rush can go into crouch heavy punch, and Luke's going to get a lot of damage off of that. In Modern, you can't do this. You have to sub in back heavy punch, which still combos, and it still will go into crouch heavy punch. But as you may notice, back heavy kick does 1,000 damage, and back heavy punch does 800. So you're losing out on 200 damage there, which is kind of significant. It doesn't mess up too many combos. It also, I can't think of any off the top of my head, but maybe it being 4 frames slower also messes up some things. But across the board, you do a little bit less damage in situations where you would use back heavy kick because you have to sub out a move and do 200 less damage. But across the board, it's not a huge problem. All right, the final downside to Modern Luke, and it is a very marginal one, but this command run I talked about before, since the quarter circle forward motion that you would normally do for the command run, and Modern that gives you fireball, so you have to do the down plus special command, and if you do a shortcut of any move, even if you don't have access to the full input version, you still do as you can see, the 80% damage instead of the 100%. So you're doing a little less damage on the run shoulder and the run overhead. Same with the OD versions. But apart from, of course, using the OD version for the armor, you don't actually hit people with this that much. Like, you can use it on Oki sometimes. Like, after some knockdowns, Luke can use this to get close. But other than that, it's really not a big deal. So all in all, if you're willing to lose out on a few mid-range pokes on a character that already has some really good mid-range pokes, and a little bit less damage in some situations where you can't do back heavy kick, in exchange for wildly consistent anti-airs with your one-button DP and your one-button supers for all of their fireball punishing and like countering DIs and burnout, I would say you should try out Modern Luke, because that's that's exactly what he's doing. He's losing some of Luke's least important tools and gaining some really unique options. And that's it. That's the pros and cons of Modern Luke. You lose out on some pokes, you lose out on some damage, you get better anti-airs, you get a good fireball punish super. And yeah, that's it. Thanks for watching. See ya.